أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين.
Fusus al-Iman is a concise format of explanations related to Sahih Iman based on Tafsir Asadi and Irshad al-Asadi. This book series is named Fusus al-Iman, Bezels of Faith, with the intention that it may be used by the people as an anchor of Sahih Iman when sailing in the oceans of knowledge of Quran and Ahadith. For the students of Quran and Ahadith, Fusus al-Iman can act as a primer that will help them solidify their Iman and prepare them for facing the onslaught of deviant sects who misinterpret the Quranic verses and Ahadith to lead them away from Islam. Since Sahih Iman is the essential requirement of salvation in hereafter, it is important to have correct understanding of all issues related to Sahih Iman to become eligible for salvation. This book contains selected verses from the surah. The explanations of these verses will, insha'Allah, benefit all Muslims of the world in protecting their Iman.
الله لا إله إلا هو الحي القيوم.
Translation: Allah, there is no God but He, the living, eternal, self-subsisting, ever-sustaining.
نزل عليك الكتاب بالحق مصدقا لما بين يديه وأنزل التوراة والإنجيل.
Translation: He has sent down to you, O Prophet ﷺ, this book, the Quran, in truth, confirming the books before it, and He sent down the Tawrat, the Torah, and the Injil, the Gospel.
من قبل هدى للناس وأنزل الفرقان إن الذين كفروا بآيات الله لهم عذاب شديد والله عزيز ذو انتقام.
Translation: Before this Quran, which is a guidance to mankind and sent down as judgment, indeed, for those who disbelieved in the verses of Allah is a severe punishment, and Allah is Almighty, the Avenger of the wrong. Explanation: Belief in books sent down on prophets is an integral part of Islamic faith. It is in Quran, say, O Prophet ﷺ, we believe in Allah and that which has been sent down on us, Quran, and sent down on Abraham, Ibrahim a.s., and Ishmael, Ismail a.s., Isaac a.s., and Jacob, Yaqub a.s., and the tribes, and in that which was given to Moses, Musa a.s., and Jesus, Isa a.s., and among the prophets of their Lord, we make no division between any of them. Al-Baqarah 136. Thus, we believe in Quran and all the scriptures mentioned in Quran. A. The Gospel, revealed to Prophet Isa a.s. B. The Torah, revealed to Prophet Musa a.s. C. The Psalms, revealed to Prophet Dawood a.s. D. The Scrolls, revealed to Ibrahim a.s. and other prophets. It is a fact that all the above scriptures have not survived neither in their original languages they were revealed to their respective prophets, nor in their content. Some translations are available which are not as per their original text. Also, these translated versions have been changed successfully over centuries. This is the reason that no two translated editions of Bible match with each other. Quran contains 114 chapters covering many subjects. It was revealed to Prophet Muhammad ﷺ over a period of 23 years. Quran is the only divine book that has been preserved in its original form. not even a single vowel sign of a word has been changed in it over a period of 1450 years. It is indeed guidance to the entire mankind till the day of resurrection.
هو الذي يصوركم في الأرحام كيف يشاء لا إله إلا هو العزيز الحكيم.
Translation: He shapes you in the womb of the mother as He wills. There is no God but He, the Almighty and All-Wise. Explanation: Quran provides a detailed account of the creation of human beings. It is in Quran, and verily we did create man from a quintessence of clay. Then we placed him as a drop of sperm in a place of rest, firmly fixed. Then we made the sperm into a clot of congealed blood. Then of that clot we made a lump, fetus. Then we made out of that lump bones and clothed the bones with flesh. Then we developed out of it another creature by breathing life into it. So blessed be Allah, the most marvelous creator. Al-Mu'minun 12-14. It is in Hadith, Abdullah bin Masud radiyallahu ta'ala anhu narrates that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, each one of you is constituted in the womb of the mother for 40 days, and then he becomes a clot of thick blood for a similar period, and then a piece of flesh for a similar period. Then Allah sends an angel who is ordered to write 4 things. He is ordered to write down his deeds, his livelihood, his date of death, and whether he will be blessed or wretched in religion. Then the soul is breathed into him. Bukhari. The above Quranic verse and hadith confirm that the soul enters the fetus 120 days, 4 months after gestation. Thus, first human body is created in the womb of the mother. The moment the soul gets associated with human body, the person or human being comes into life.
هو الذي أنزل عليك الكتاب منه آيات محكمات هن أم الكتاب وأخر متشابهات فأما الذين في قلوبهم زيغ فيتبعون ما تشابه منه ابتغاء الفتنة وابتغاء تأويله وما يعلم تأويله إلا الله والراسخون في العلم يقولون آمنا به كل من عند ربنا وما يذكر إلا أولو الألباب.
Translation: He, Allah, is who has sent down to you, O Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the book, the Quran. Some verses of it are definite in meaning, ayat-e-muhkamat. These form the mother of the book, the basic therein, and the rest are figurative, metaphorical, ayat-e-mutashabihat. But they, in whose minds there is a tendency to deviate from truth, take the metaphorical verses in their literal or textual sense, craving discord and craving to give them their own interpretation, although none knows the reality about them except Allah. And those who make it right approach to knowledge could only say, we believe therein all that is from our Lord. None can catch their significance except those gifted with insight. Explanation: The word muhkamat is a verbal noun in plural form, meaning judgments, decisions, etc., and refers to the verse of the Quran related to legal rulings and clear definitions. The word mutashahibat is derived from the root Arabic word ishtihar, meaning not certain. It is a verbal noun in plural form, meaning uncertain things. It refers to those verses of the Quran, the meanings of which require interpretation. The following verses are the examples of ayat-e-muhkamat. First, it is in Quran, there is nothing like him, Ash-Shura 11. Second, it is in Quran, Lord of the skies and the earth and whatever is between them, and have patience for his worship. Do you know of any similarity to him? Maryam 65. The following verses are the examples of ayat-e mutashabihat, whose meanings require interpretation. First, it is in Quran. The hand of Allah is over their hands. Al-Fath 10. The meaning of this verse is, since the Prophet ﷺ was following the commandment of Allah by taking bay'ah of his Sahaba, the bay'ah is reflected towards Allah, who commanded it. It means that though the hand of the Prophet ﷺ is on the hands of his Sahaba, the implication is the hand of Allah is over their hands. Second, it is in Quran. Ar-Rahman, the most compassionate, is established over the throne. Taha 5. Since Allah is free from the considerations of form, body, sitting, standing, and all other characteristics of His creatures, the meaning of this verse is Allah's kingdom and authority is established over the throne. Third, it is in Quran. Allah mocks them and prolongs them in their transgression while they wander blindly. Al-Baqarah 15. The meaning of this verse is Allah punishes them for their mockery. It is in Quran. And then unbelievers plotted and planned, and Allah too planned, and the best of planners is Allah. Al Imran. The meaning of this verse is Allah punishes them for their devilish plots. Salafis and like-minded groups use the above ayat-e mutashabihat in literal or textual meanings to mislead Muslims. They claim their God has a physical body. It is important to understand the perception of God by Salafis, Christians and Hindus who worship idol gods in different formats. Salafis call their sky god as Allah because God is translated in Arabic as Allah. Similarly, Christians in Arabic, Persian and Urdu translations of Bible refer to their God as Allah. Islamic perception of Allah is completely different from the idolized perception of Hindus, Salafis, Christians and other people. Salafis and their like-minded groups worship a sky god who has two hands, two eyes, a face, a mouth, a tongue in the mouth, two shins, legs, fingers in hands and feet, and a huge human-like physical body, who's sitting on a big chair on the skies in a certain direction. They say that this huge sky idol has limitations on his movements as he cannot come near human beings, therefore knows about them only by his knowledge. They call this human-like monstrous deity as Allah. Salafis also claim that their sky god is one of its kind, self-made, independent, neither beget nor begotten. They claim they are Muslims and treat real Muslims as unbelievers. Ibn Baz, 1910 to 1999, the Grand Mufti of Saudi Arabia wrote, their sky god has first a physical body, al-jism, second, he is physically sitting on the sky, and third, he has limbs, hands, eyes, tongue, face and other body parts. Ibn Taymiyyah, 1263 to 1328, one of the founders of Salafism, described the physical characteristics of their sky god as follows. First, the sky god needs, meaning the god is not independent and not self-sustained. Second, he is divisible, meaning the gods can be many, but ultimately it is one entity only. This belief is exactly identical to the belief of Christians and Hindus. Third, he settles in a place. Fourth, he has 6 directions, up, down, left, right, front, back, meaning the sky god has a physical body. The sky god is sitting above the skies and his face is in a certain direction. Fifth, he has limitations. No one but he knows about it. Even his place dwelling has a limitation which is on the 7th sky. Thus, the sky god has 2 limitations of movements. Sixth, he has a huge size of his body. 7. He must be creating continuously. He can choose what to create, but he cannot choose whether to create or not, meaning he is helpless, has no choice but to create continuously. 8. He is not mixed with his creation, but is sitting alone separately on the sky. 9. He has 2 real eyes, 2 real hands, a real human-like face and other limbs. His face and other limbs are known to him only. There are verses in Quran that refer to non-believers and Makkan pagans. Salafis, Deobandis and other like-minded groups following the footsteps of Khawarij, impose these verses on prophets, Aimma and Awliya Allah and mislead innocent Muslims. Using the Quranic verses meant for pagans, Mushrikeen Makkah, or Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Sahaba radiyallahu ta'ala anhum, and Awliya Allah was started by Munafiqun during the time of Khulafai Rashidun. Later, it was continued by Khawarij, Salafis, Deobandis and their like-minded groups. It is in Hadith, Ibn Umar radiyallahu ta'ala anhu considered the Khawarij and the heretics as the worst beings in creation, meaning worse than Satan and his subordinate Shayateen. And he said, they went to verses which were revealed about the disbelievers, the pagans of Makkah, and applied them to the believers, prophets, Sahaba, Awliya Allah and Muslims. Bukhari. Salafis, Deobandis and their like-minded groups treat the Prophet ﷺ, Sahaba and Aimma just like ordinary sinful human beings and claim that after their deaths, no one should visit their graves. They do not believe in Isal Thawab. They call the graves of the Prophet ﷺ, Sahaba and Awliya Allah as places of shirk. They claim all dignitaries of Islam are lying idols of Muslims, and those who visit their graves are grave worshippers. In this context, they may use the following 4 verses of Quran and impose them on Muslims or Awliya Allah to support their arguments related to visiting the graves of Awliya Allah and Muslims. It is an important information for all Muslims to safeguard their Iman. Verse number 1. It is in Quran, verily you cannot make the dead hear and you cannot make the deaf hear the call when they turn their backs and retreat. An-Naml 80. Second, it is in Quran, the living and the dead are not alike. Allah makes whoever He wishes hear, but you cannot make those in the graves hear. Fatir 22. Third, it is in Quran, to whom they call on beside Allah can create nothing. They are themselves created. Dead are they, absolutely without life. They cannot even know when they will be raised. An-Nahl 20-21. It is in Quran, surely you shall die and they too shall surely die. Az-Zumur 30. All 4 verses quoted above are the Quranic chapters delivered in Makkah. We all know that the chapters delivered in Makkah were mostly in refutation of idol worship of Meccan pagans. Therefore, the above verses are surely meant for Meccan pagans. We have discussed these verses below to explain that the contention of deviant sects is spurious. Verse number 1. It is in Quran, verily you cannot make the dead hear and you cannot make the deaf hear the call when they turn their backs and retreat. An-Naml 80. To understand the above verse in its correct perspective, read the verse which is mentioned immediately after this verse, verse 81. We have quoted below both these verses together for our readers to understand factual meanings in this regard. It is in Quran, verily you cannot make the dead hear and you cannot make the deaf hear the call when they turn their backs and retreat. This is verse 80. Nor can you lead the blind out of their error. You cannot make none to hear except those who believe in our revelations and who have surrendered themselves to Islam. Verse 81. An-Naml 80-81. When we read both the verses together, it is clear that the word dead is used to mean the disbelievers and not those who are actually dead. In verse 80, it is mentioned that when you call them, they turn their backs and retreat, meaning these verses are meant for the living Meccan pagans. Similarly, in verse 81, it is mentioned that you cannot make none to hear except those who believe in our revelations, which makes it abundantly clear that these verses are definitely meant for Meccan pagans who are unwilling to accept the truth of Islam. Verse number 2. It is in Quran, the living and the dead are not alike. Allah makes whoever He wishes hear, but you cannot make those in graves hear. Fatir 22. To find out its actual meaning, let us study 3 verses immediately before this verse. We have provided below all 4 verses together for our readers to understand correct contextual meanings. It is in Quran, the blind and the seeing are not alike. Verse 19. Nor are the depth of darkness and the light. Verse 20. Nor are the chilly shade and the genial gracious heat of the sun. Verse 21. Nor are alike those that are living and those that are dead. Allah can make any that He wills to hear, but you, O Prophet ﷺ, cannot make those hear who are in graves. Verse 22. Fatir 19-22. Verse 19. The blind and the seeing are not alike. This has reference in Meccan polytheists. Allah is referring them as blind because they do not have the light of Iman in their hearts. Verse 20. The depth of darkness and light is not alike. This means Kuffar's hearts are buried in the depth of darkness. Therefore, they cannot be compared with Muslims whose hearts are enlightened with Iman. Verse 21. The chilly shade and gracious heat of the sun cannot be alike. Since Meccan pagans' hearts are buried in the depth of darkness, it is referred as chilly shade, which cannot benefit from the heat of the sun. Meaning, the polytheists of Makkah are not benefited from the gracious heat of Iman that is emanating from Prophet Muhammad ﷺ. Verse 22 has three parts. Part 22.1. The living and dead are not alike. This means the polytheists of Makkah and Muslims are not the same. Muslims are referred as living beings because of their Iman. As Meccan pagans' hearts are buried in the depth of darkness because of their idol worship, they are referred as dead people. Part 22.2. Allah can make any that He wills to hear. Allah says that He has the omnipotence power to make anyone hear, which means He can give Iman to anyone He wishes. Part 22.3. O Prophet ﷺ, you cannot make those dead bodies listen that are in graves. Since the entire discussion is about Meccan mushrikeen, whose hearts are buried in the depth of darkness because of their idol worship, this part of the verse 22.3 naturally refers to them. Here, the word grave is used as a metaphor with references to the hearts of Meccan pagans, which are buried in the depth of darkness as that of grave. The graves of Muslims are not dark, they are illuminated by Allah's mercy. Thus, the entire sequence of verses, Fatir 19-22, mentioned above, refers to the Meccan polytheists and not to the actual dead. It is in Hadith, Prophet Muhammad ﷺ said, He who remembers his Lord and he who does not are like the living and the dead. Muslim. It is in Hadith, Abu Musa radiyallahu ta'ala anhu narrates that the Prophet ﷺ said, He who remembers his Lord and he who does not are like the living and the dead. Bukhari As-Sahih 5, 2353, number 6044. Mundiri At-Targhib Wat Tarhib 2, 256, number 2303. Asqalani Fathul Bari 11-210, number 6044. It is in Hadith, Abu Musa radiyallahu ta'ala anhu narrates that the Holy Prophet ﷺ said, The house in which Allah is remembered and the one in which Allah is not remembered are like the living and the dead. Muslim As-Sahih 1, 539, number 779. Ibn Hibban As-Sahih 3-135, number 854. Abu Yala Al-Musnad 13-91, 7306. Ruyani Al-Musnad 1-317, number 473. Abu Nu'am Al-Musnad Al-Mustakhraj Ala As-Sahih Muslim 2-372, number 1771. Dailami 4-143, number 6442. Bayhaqi Sha'b ul-Iman 1-401, number 536. Mundiri At-Targhib Wat Tarhib 1-170, number 635. Nawawi Sharh Sahih Muslim 6-68. It is in Quran, and they who reject our verses and those who reject the real meanings and misinterpret them and draw wrong conclusions from them are deaf and dumb in utter darkness. Whom Allah pleases, He causes to err, and whom He pleases, He puts on the right way. Al-An'am 39. Verse number 3. It is in Quran, to whom they call on beside Allah can create nothing. They are themselves created. Dead are they, absolutely without life. They cannot even know when they will be raised. An-Nahl 20-21. The above verses are meant for Meccan pagans and their dead ancestors, which is proved from the following Quranic verses, ahadith and quotes. First, it is in Quran, your guardian or solver of grievances can be Allah and His Apostle sallallahu alaihi wasallam and those who believe, who establish salah and pay zakah and bow down in prayer. Al-Ma'idah 55. Second, it is in hadith narrated by Al-Hakim that Abu Ayyub Al-Ansari radiyallahu ta'ala anhu placed his forehead on the grave of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Marwan ibn al-Hakam, the governor of Medina, saw him and held his neck. Abu Ayyub radiyallahu ta'ala anhu said, I did not come to the stone idol. I came to the Apostle of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. I heard the Apostle of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam say, do not weep for Islam if the qualified people were in charge, but weep for it if it was under the charge of unqualified. Al-Hakim related this hadith in Mustadrak and said it is Sahih. Ad-Dahabi, who is held in great respect by Salafis, agreed to his authentication. In the above hadith, there is a clear-cut distinction between idols worshipped by idol worshippers and graves of prophets, Sahaba and Awliya Allah. Paying respects, placing foreheads on the mazar or kissing the mazars of Islamic dignitaries is the tradition of Sahaba. Look at the above hadith. Abu Ayyub radiyallahu ta'ala anhu is reported to have placed his forehead on the pious grave of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and when Marwan, the governor of Medina, tried to hold him, he says that I have come to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam and not to an idol. Walking on the footsteps of Khawarij, Salafis, Deobandis and their like-minded groups claim that the idols worshipped by idol worshippers or Hindus in temples are standing and the Muslim idols are the dignitaries of Islam, Awliya Allah who are laying in their graves. Astaghfirullah. To equate Awliya Allah, Sahaba, Imams as idols is to invite the wrath of Allah. Third, it is in hadith narrated by Ibn Majah, Ahmad al-Tabarani, As-Subki and Ibn Asakir, Muad ibn Jabal radiyallahu ta'ala anhu and Bilal radiyallahu ta'ala anhu came to the grave of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam and sat weeping, and Bilal radiyallahu ta'ala anhu rubbed his face against the grave of Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Ibn Majah 2-1320, Ahmad al-Tabarani, al-Subki and Ibn Asakir. The above hadith confirms the fact that kissing of graves and placing head and rubbing face on the graves is the tradition of Sahaba radiyallahu ta'ala anhum. Fourth, it is in hadith Yahya related from Imam Malik radiyallahu ta'ala anhu that he heard that Ali ibn Abi Talib radiyallahu ta'ala anhu used to rest his head on graves and lie on them, holding the grave with his stretched hands, while his head, entire face and chest is rested on the grave. Imam Malik radiyallahu ta'ala anhu said, as far as we can see, it is only forbidden to sit on the graves to relieve oneself. Muwatta Imam Malik, Book 16. Fifth, Ibn Taymiyyah, the first in command of Salafis, Deobandis and their like-minded groups, wrote a hadith in his book Sirat al-Mustaqim. A person came to the blessed grave of the Apostle of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam and requested food from the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam and sat down. After a while, a Hashmi, a member of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam's family, came to him. He had with him a tray of food and said, this food has been sent by the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and with it he gave a message. Eat it and leave from here, because whoever loves us does not make this kind of desire. Iqtida as-Sirat al-Mustaqim, page 290 by Ibn Taymiyyah. From the above, it is proved that we can request from the pious people for our needs and they can help in alleviating our problems. Verse number 4. It is in Quran, surely you shall die and they too shall surely die. Az-Zumur 30. It is in hadith narrated Ummul Mu'mineen Aisha radhiyallahu ta'ala anha, Allah's Apostle sallallahu alaihi wasallam died while Abu Bakr Siddiq radhiyallahu ta'ala anhu was at a place called As-Sunnah Al-Aliyah. Umar radiallahu ta'ala anhu stood up and said, "By Allah, Allah's apostle sallallahu alaihi wasallam is not dead." Umar radiallahu ta'ala anhu later on said, "By Allah, nothing occurred to my mind except that," he said, "verily, Allah will resurrect him and he will cut the hands and legs of some men." Then Abu Bakr radiallahu ta'ala anhu came and uncovered the face of Allah's apostle sallallahu alaihi wasallam, kissed him and said, "Let my mother and father be sacrificed for you, O Allah's apostle sallallahu alaihi wasallam. You are good in life and in death. By Allah, in whose hands my life is, Allah will never make you taste death twice." Then he went out and said, "O oath taker, don't be hasty." When Abu Bakr radiallahu ta'ala anhu spoke, Umar radiallahu ta'ala anhu sat down. Abu Bakr radiallahu ta'ala anhu praised and glorified Allah and said, "No doubt, whoever worshipped Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, then Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is dead. But whoever worshipped Allah, then Allah is alive and shall never die." Then he recited, "Surely you shall die, and they too shall surely die." Az-Zumur 30. Bukhari, Volume 5, Book 57, number 19. Salafis, Deobandis and their like-minded groups misinterpret the above verse and hadith to mean that there is no difference between the death of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and the death of a pagan mushrik, in the sense that both cannot see or hear after death. Astaghfirullah al-Azim. This claim on their part is kufr, a blatant and unpardonable kufr. No person who has some common sense can equate Allah's apostle sallallahu alaihi wasallam with a pagan mushrik, both in this life and in hereafter. La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. To understand the meaning of this verse, let us read a verse before this verse. We have provided below both these verses for our readers so that they understand true meanings in this context. It is in Quran. Allah puts forth a similitude. A slave man belonging to many partners, like those who worship others along with Allah, disputing with one another, and a slave man belonging entirely to one master, like those who worship Allah alone. Are those two equal in comparison? All praises and thanks be to Allah. But most of them know not. Surely you shall die, and they too shall surely die. Az-Zumur 29-30. Verse 29 establishes that the people who worship idols are not the same as those who worship Allah. Surely the treatment, rewards, and active life of Muslims after their deaths will be different from the punishment of dead mushrikeen. There are many Quranic verses and a hadith and quotes which testify that prophets, Sahaba, awliya Allah are alive. They can see, listen, and pray for us. This is Allah's beneficence and reward for them. Verse number 30 describes, "O Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, you will die and these mushrikeens will also die. But since you are not like one of them, therefore your state after death will be exalted, totally different from their state. Your rewards and responsibilities after death are different from the punishment and torment of dead mushrikeen." Read more Quranic verses in this context. First, it is in Quran. "As for those who do not have faith and indulge in evil sinful acts, do they think that we place them both in their life and their death on equal footing with those who have attained faith and do righteous deeds? Bad indeed is their judgment." Al-Jathiyah 21. Second is in Quran. "The inmates of hell and inmates of paradise are not in the same position. Only the inmates of paradise are felicitated." Al-Hashr 20. Third, it is in Quran. "Those are they who are truth believers. For them are grades of honor with their Lord and pardon and a bountiful provision." Al-Anfal 4. Fourth, it is in Quran. "If you could see how the angels receive those who disbelieve, smiting faces and their backs and saying, 'Taste the punishment of burning.'" Al-Anfal 50.
لا يتخذ المؤمنون الكافرين أولياء من دون المؤمنين ومن يفعل ذلك فليس من الله في شيء إلا أن تتقوا منهم تقاه ويحذركم الله نفسه وإلى الله المصير.
Translation: Those who believe should not take unbelievers as their friends in preference to those who believe. Whoever does that has no connection whatsoever with Allah except when taking precaution against them. Allah warns you of His wrath, and towards Allah is your return. Explanation: Muslims can live in a multicultural society under Islamic or non-Islamic governments in peace and amity with followers of different faiths and ethnic backgrounds. They can be friendly with them and help them in their hour of need. It is in Hadith. Ibn Abbas radiallahu ta'ala anhu reported, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "He is not a believer whose stomach is filled while the neighbor to his side is hungry." Bayhaqi, Sunan al-Kubra. In the above hadith, there is no mention about your neighbor should be a true Muslim in order to help him or her in any manner needed. He, she can be anyone belonging to any sect, faith and ethnicity. What Allah is explaining in the above verse is the Muslims, in the name of friendship, interfaith harmony or peaceful coexistence, start befriending with non-Muslims to an extent that they start visiting their temples, churches and other places of worship and start participating in that worship with them. This is what Ammani sect propagates in the world. They intermix with non-believers, leaving Muslims to an extent that they lose Sahih Iman. If someone does that, then Allah will leave him in that state and he will be subjected to Allah's wrath in both the worlds.
إن الله اصطفى آدم ونوحا وآل إبراهيم وآل عمران على العالمين.
Translation: Indeed, Allah had chosen Adam alayhi salam and Noah alayhi salam and the family of Ibrahim alayhi salam and the family of Imran alayhi salam in preference to others. Explanation: The family of Imran alayhi salam is from the family of prophets Dawood alayhi salam and Sulaiman alayhi salam. The family of Imran alayhi salam is the last family of prophets among Israelis, because after Isa alayhi salam, the prophethood ended among the people of Israel. It is reported that Imran alayhi salam and his wife Hannah alayhi salam had two daughters. The eldest one was the wife of Prophet Zakaria alayhi salam. The younger daughter, Maryam alayhi salam, was born long after the birth of her elder sister. Her elder sister is the mother of Prophet Yahya alayhi salam, and she is the mother of Prophet Isa alayhi salam. It is reported that Prophet Yahya alayhi salam was older than Prophet Isa alayhi salam by about 3 years.
إذ قال الله يا عيسى إني متوفيك ورافعك إلي ومطهرك من الذين كفروا وجاعل الذين اتبعوك فوق الذين كفروا إلى يوم القيامة ثم إلي مرجعكم فأحكم بينكم فيما كنتم فيه تختلفون.
Translation: When Allah said, O Isa alayhi salam, I will raise you towards me, and you will be kept alive to complete your age on earth, and will exalt you and rid you of the infidels, and keep those who follow you above those who disbelieve till the day of resurrection. You all then have to return back to me when I will judge between you concerning the matter in which they dispute.
فمن حاجك فيه من بعد ما جاءك من العلم فقل تعالوا ندع أبناءنا وأبناءكم ونساءنا ونساءكم وأنفسنا وأنفسكم ثم نبتهل فنجعل لعنة الله على الكاذبين.
Translation. Tell them, O Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, those who dispute in this with you even after the knowledge has come to you, come, let us gather our sons and your sons, our women and your women, ourselves and yourselves, and pray and solicit Allah's condemnation on those who lie. Explanation. The above verse is known as verse of Mubahla. It was revealed in Medina. The verse is misinterpreted by a deviant sect known as Ammanis to mislead Muslims. It is important to discuss this issue briefly here so that Muslims are saved from Ammani deviant arguments. Brief history. In the 9th year of Hijrah, Prophet Muhammad sent a letter to Abdul Haris ibn Alqama, Grand Bishop of Najran, the official representative of the Roman Church, inviting the people of that area to embrace Islam. In response to the letter, they sent a delegation to the Prophet ﷺ. It is in Hadith al-Mubahla. A Christian delegation from Najran came to Medina and entered Masjid al-Nabawi ﷺ when the Prophet ﷺ and Sahaba were performing Asr prayer. They went to a corner, turned their faces towards the east and prepared to worship. Some companions, after their salah, wished to prevent them from worshipping, but the Prophet ﷺ commanded that they be left alone and permitted them to finish their worship. References: Tabari, Ibn Khatir, Razi, Qurtubi, etc. in their Tafsir Surah Al-Imran, verse number 61. Part of these commentaries dealt with this issue in the beginning of the surah, and some in the Tafsir of verse 61 of the surah. Important points of the Hadith. First, when the delegation arrived, Prophet Muhammad ﷺ was busy in Asr prayers. Second, the Christians entered the Prophet ﷺ's mosque without taking any prior permission, turned to the east and prepared to worship while Sahaba were busy in Asr prayers. Some companions, after the completion of Asr prayers, wished to stop Christians from prayers, but the Prophet ﷺ commanded that they be left alone and allowed them to finish their prayers. Third, it is obvious that the Prophet ﷺ's primary aim was to invite these Christians to Islam. As a matter of fact, this delegation came after the Prophet ﷺ wrote a letter to them inviting them to accept Islam. Fourth, later the negotiations were continued for 3 days while the Prophet ﷺ gave them time so that they see the Muslims by their own eyes remaining in Medina and observing Muslim prayers. What happened during these 3 days? Najran was a big area of land at a distance of 7 trip stages southwards of Makkah towards Yemen. It included 73 villages. It took a fast rider 1 day ride to get there. Fath al-Bari 8 of 94. Its military forces consisted of 100,000 fighters. The delegation was comprised of 60 men. 24 of them were from noble families. 3 out of the 24 were at one time leaders of Najran as follows. A. Abu Harith bin Alqama was a bishop to whom all religious presidency and spiritual leadership belonged and were in his charge. B. Al-Akhib was in charge of princehood and government affairs. His name was Abdul Masih. C. As-Sayyid was in charge of educational and political affairs of Najran. His name was Al-Ayham or Sharhabil. The delegates met the Prophet ﷺ and exchanged inquiries with him. But when he invited them to Islam and recited the Quran to them, they refused. Misleading arguments of Ammani deviant sect. Deviant sects like Ammanis and their like-minded groups cite this event and mislead Muslims. They say that since the Prophet ﷺ allowed the Christian delegation to pray in Masjid al-Nabawi, they claim that all Muslim mosques in the world should be opened for non-Muslims for worship as per their customs. They also say that the idol worshippers should be allowed to worship their idols in Muslim mosque. Ammanis and their like-minded perennialist groups forget the fact that the primary purpose of the Prophet ﷺ was to invite them to Islam. He never declared that the mosque is a common place where Muslims and Christians and others can pray on a permanent basis, as has been interpreted by Ammanis. Also, the Prophet ﷺ did not treat them as believers on par with Muslims as Ammanis are doing these days. The Christian delegation asked the Prophet ﷺ what he thought about Isa alayhi. The Prophet ﷺ delayed the answer the whole day till the following Quranic verse was revealed. It is in Quran. The example of Isa alayhi with Allah is like that of Adam alayhi. He created him, Adam alayhi, from clay and then said to him, "Be," and there he is. O people who believe, this is the truth from your Lord, so never be of those who doubt. Tell them, O Prophet ﷺ, those who dispute in this with you even after the knowledge has come to you, come, let us gather our sons and your sons, our women and your women, ourselves and yourselves, and pray and solicit Allah's condemnation on those who lie. Ali Imran 59-61. When it was morning, the Apostle of Allah ﷺ told them what Isa alayhi was in the light of the above revealed verses. He left them a whole day to consult and think it over. So when it was next morning and they still showed disapproval to accept Allah's words about Isa alayhi or to embrace Islam, the Prophet ﷺ suggested mubahla, that is, each party should supplicate and implore Allah to send His curse upon him or them if they were telling lies. After that, the Prophet ﷺ came forward wrapping Al-Hasan radiyallahu ta'ala anhu and Al-Husayn radiyallahu ta'ala anhu under his garment, whereas Fatima radiyallahu ta'ala anha was walking behind. It is reported that many other Muslim families joined the Prophet ﷺ in mubahla. Seeing that the Prophet ﷺ was serious and prepared to face them firmly, they went aside and started consulting. Al-Akhib and Al-Sa'id said to each other, "We shall not supplicate curse of Allah by entering the mubahla. For I swear by Allah, if he is really a prophet and exchanges curses with us, we will never prosper, nor will the descendants of ours. Consequently, neither we nor our animals will survive the mubahla." Finally, they made their mind to resort to the Apostle of Allah ﷺ's judgment about their cause. They came to him and said, "We agree with you what you have demanded." The Apostle of Allah ﷺ then formalized an agreement and ordered them to pay a small jizya, tribute, and he made peace with them for the provision of 2,000 garments, 1,000 of them to be delivered in Rajab, the other 1,000 in Safar. With every garment they had to pay an ounce of gold. In return, they will have the covenant of Allah and His Apostle ﷺ to protect them from their enemies. He gave them freedom to live peacefully in their land. They asked the Prophet ﷺ to appoint a trustworthy man to receive the money agreed upon for peace. So he sent Abu Ubaidah al-Jarrah radiyallahu ta'ala anhu to receive the jizya as agreed upon in the peace treaty. The above details show that the Prophet ﷺ did not approve the Christians as believers on par with Muslims as Ammani scholars are claiming these days. Also, it is most likely that the delegation was allowed to stay in the mosque because till then there was no provision made, no special building was constructed to house large delegations. In addition, the Prophet ﷺ insisted them to accept Islam as per the commandments of Allah. This is different from what the propagators of Amman message are doing. They are mixing religions by misinterpreting the hadith of Mubahla. Also, there is no single occasion during or after Prophet Muhammad ﷺ when Muslims were allowed to participate in non-Muslims' religious festivals and their worship as Ammanis are doing in the name of interfaith. When Najran delegation refused to accept Islam, Prophet ﷺ invited them for Mubahla. They were scared to enter into Mubahla. Therefore, they conceded for an agreement with the Prophet ﷺ to remain as Islam's protectorate on payment of a nominal amount. Soon Islam started spreading in Najran, and those who accepted Islam did not have to pay jizya that usually non-Muslims pay. It was reported that Al-Akhib and Al-Sa'id embraced Islam as soon as they reached Najran on their journey back home. It is also said that the Prophet ﷺ sent Hadrat Ali radiyallahu ta'ala anhu too for the collection of charities and tribute. Fath al-Bari 8 of 94, 95, Zad al-Ma'ad 3 of 38 to 40. Later, the entire population of Najran accepted Islam.
صدق الله العلي العظيم وصدق رسوله النبي الكريم صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم.